what's the best type of property to buy in 2025? Most people think there's a simple answer to that question, but the thing is, what you buy is only part of it. It's where you buy and what you do with it that really matters. And if you get just one of these things wrong, you could end up stuck with a property that barely grows and leaves you wondering where you went wrong. I've worked with over 100 investors to start and scale their portfolios, and I've built mine from scratch too, and I've seen what works and I have seen what doesn't. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly the types of properties that I'm buying now, where I'm buying them, and the clever little tweaks that can make a huge difference. Now, before we jump in, if you're planning on buying a property in 2025, make sure that you download the free property investment playbook that I've created. It's the same resource that we use with every investor that we work with, and it will help you avoid huge, costly mistakes. It's a bunch of free resources. You can grab it through the link in the description. Starting with number 3 on the list of my favorite investment strategies at the moment, it is to buy a 3-bedroom semi-detached house that you can renovate and sell in an area that is in the catchment of outstanding rated schools. Now, when people want to buy property to renovate and sell, they want to flip a house, they often overlook the key thing, which is who is going to be your end buyer. A lot of people just look at rundown houses that they can get a good discount on, and they think, oh yeah, I could definitely add some value there. And they just completely miss the point of who's going to buy it off you once you've done the refurb. Now, I'll give you an interesting story. My friends actually bought a house. It was a 3-bed semi-detached house in quite a nice area. They bought it for about £260,000. They lived in it for about 2-3 years, and they spent about £10,000 just sprucing it up over that time. And they didn't really buy it at a massive discount when they did buy it. But in those 2 to 3 years that they lived there, 2 of the schools in their catchment area went from an Ofsted rating of good to outstanding. Once that happened, they then put their house up on the market and tried to sell it. And immediately in the first 24 hours, they had 30 viewings booked, all with families desperate to buy and get into the area. They ended up putting it on the market for £400,000. They sold it for £430,000 because the demand from families that want to move into an area, into a good quality family-sized home in an area where they can send their kids to outstanding schools, can drive the value of your property up like crazy. And not just that, just increase your pool of people who want to come and buy your property. And you know, always, if you have a huge demand for a property, then selling it is really, really easy. So if you want to flip a property, you've got to think, it doesn't have to be schools, but what is the reason you're investing in that area? Who is going to be your end buyer? I bought a bungalow in 2021, and I knew for a fact that I was going to sell it to an old couple because it was just in an area of bungalows where elderly people moved when they retired, and it was a lovely area. And because of that, we did the renovation to appeal to that market, and we managed to get way more than we expected because we figured out who are we going to sell to on the back end. My second favorite type of property to invest in is a property that is typically a 2 to 3 bedroom terraced house that we can buy and again renovate, but instead of flipping it on and selling it, we refinance it and we rent it out, and we hold those properties in areas with high capital growth. So many people today are saying buy-to-lets are dead, and they just write off single lets entirely, and they think in order to make money in property, you have to do it through Airbnb or HMOs or commercial conversions or all these fancy investment strategies. But really, the basic buy-to-let can work really, really well if you go about it in the right way. One of my investors that we sourced a property for bought a property in Manchester about 6 months ago, and it was in an area called Gorton, and he bought the house for about £140,000. We spent about £20,000, £25,000 fixing it up, and it was worth about £200,000 once it was done. So he held onto the property, refinanced it, rented it out for about 1.1k per month, and he's holding on to that still, and he's going to hold on to that for years and years and years to come, and that property is going to just continue to go up and up in value. So yes, we are buying properties that are buy-to-lets. We're not buying them freshly done up because yes, that does make it a little bit tricky to make your money back. We want to be making the money out of both the capital growth that just naturally takes place but also the added value of us driving up the value of the property through a refurb. So if you're going to be investing in this type of property strategy, what I would recommend is going in areas where there's going to be good capital growth. I love Manchester. I'm from Manchester. I know it very well. I know what's good. If you were to buy in Manchester, you want to be looking at places that are along the tram lines so that people who want to commute into the city centre can do so really easily by the tram. You want to be avoiding properties that are absolutely pristine and done up to a really high spec already, unless you can get a crazy discount on it. You want to be finding properties that are slightly in need of a refurb, but that once you have renovated it and refurbed it, you could then rent it out to a young family or a couple who are able to pay the sorts of good quality rent that you'll need to be charging to be making money every single month. Because with buy-to-lets, we just want to make sure that we are making profit every month, but that we are getting most of our value through the capital growth. Now, my favorite combination of strategies to invest in are buying 3-bedroom houses and converting them under permitted development to 5 or 6 bedroom HMOs. And I do this in cities or large towns. Now, most people think that HMOs are just too hard work. They're just not worth the hassle. Or they think that when you rent them out, really, you're only going to be renting them to students. And that's really not the case. We've actually just secured a property for £225,000 for one of our clients in a large town just outside of Manchester. And it's going to be a brilliant property. We're going to be converting it into a 6-bedroom HMO that's going to be making about £50,000 per year, which after all the costs and everything is going to equate to about £1.3 to £1,500 per month as profit. And it's not going to stinky students who are going to trash the place. It's going to go to working professionals who are going to actually look after the property and have a job that can pay the rent on time and hopefully not cause too many issues on a maintenance side of things. And that's exactly why I love this strategy. It's the strategy that allows you to get a really high yield on your property, a really good return. And at the moment, you're able to drive up the value and get huge GDVs, gross development values. This is like your end value once you've done the conversion. The values of them are just incredibly high. So you're able to refinance and pull out a substantial amount of capital to recycle your money and go again. And with proper planning and licensing in place and a really good quality property with good room sizes, you can attract really high quality tenants who pay really high quality rents. Now, if you want to be going for strategies like this, you want to be choosing areas that aren't going to be in Article 4 because you're going to have to go through planning. And if it's not in Article 4, then you can convert the property from a C3, a normal family home, into a C4, which is a HMO up to 6 tenants, 6 occupants. You can do that under permitted development in the same way you could extend the back of your house under permitted development. You're just allowed to do it. But you want to make sure it's areas where there's going to be clear tenant demand, places like where I am in the Northwest, Stockport, Warrington, Wigan. There's loads of areas in and around Greater Manchester that are incredible for working professional HMOs. Typically, the easiest properties to do this with are your standard 3-bedroom terraces where you've got 2 big reception rooms, a good sized kitchen at the back, 3 bedrooms and a little bathroom at the top as well. That sort of layout is very easy to convert into a 5-bedroom HMO. And then if you can do an attic or a basement conversion, you could turn it into a 6 or 7. But just make sure that you do it properly with the right build team, with the right architect, and you're complying with all of the fire safety and HMO licensing requirements when you're doing your conversion. Now, if this is the type of property strategy that you want to work on and that you want to implement yourself, then we help people start and scale their HMO portfolio. So if you're interested, make sure you click the link in the description. You can find out how you can book a call with us. We can go through the strategy with you and explain how we can help you scale your portfolio in a hands-off way. So now you know, in my opinion, the best strategies in 2025. But these strategies only work if you avoid those things that can really drag your portfolio down. Watch this video here where I will rank the worst properties to invest in 2025 so that you can avoid those mistakes. And I think some of them might surprise you.